hope it's bigger, yet the smaller
It's, yeah, it's different experiences, right?
yeah.
That's the challenge of like,
You just not.
yeah. The big groups are fun because there's a lot of like synergy and like experience and opportunity, and also at the same time it's gotta, you want it to go deep too, which sometimes the smaller groups is better for.
You can go there's deep, all right.
Deep thinkers?
Well, okay, I'll leave it at that.
James, be nice.
That's gonna cover up you, I don't wanna do that. Hopefully that'll be in a good spot, so that we don't get into your stuff. Good. All right, yeah, the trick is with Emmy, Jason and I were talking about that this morning and yesterday, because with Olivia here, we still had a really good crowd. But
Yeah.
we totally forgot that was the MEA, and so there's a lot of people with their.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in fairness, that slipped my mind too, so, you know, we live and we learn. Good morning. So,
You don't have to sit way over there.
Sit by Mo.
That's her spot.
What is
I
the
know.
deal? MEA.
You're not jealous that she's sitting next to your husband?
No.
I'm blowing in his ear.
Oh, God.
Go for it.
Jamie, do we,
You're gonna have to
are you
pay for it.
flipping through slides, or how's that work?
Sorry, I'll flip you off. Here.
Oh, you'll flip me off? Oh, thanks.
Here.
You do it.
It's ready to go.
I gotta click on something first.
Okay, so I'm sitting in like right now and I want to take notes. Tell me where to go.
We're in business.
There we go. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, let me just make sure that I got this right. We're good, we're good, we're good.
Yep, did you get it?
I got it. Just checking.
I knew you could do
Make
it.
sure the operator is working, meaning me, well.
Type away.
And then,
It saves itself.
All right, perfect. Do we have some people online, I'm assuming, Jamie?
We have Tricia, and there's a message, so I haven't logged in yet myself.
No
The
worries.
message is from Tricia. Hi,
Hi,
Jackson. Jackson must also be on, or Tricia has started happy hour very early. There you go.
There you go.
But Mary's not there with her, so how does
Jackson
that
is
be?
on.
I know.
All right, we're gonna get rolling. So, Kyle Cross, been out here probably what, Jamie, a couple times before now?
Yeah, it's probably about the third.
Okay,
About the third.
setting expectations for success, I think was maybe the last time I was here.
Yeah, you
Setting
did a
the,
team meeting then and a class.
yeah.
Now it's straight up class.
Yeah, absolutely, straight up class, absolutely. So, Kyle, for those of you who are online, feel free to jump in. The class is meant to be, and I'm not able to click over, Jamie,
You have to click right again.
unless you can do it on your end. Perfect.
I can, but I want you to be able to do it. You can try it.
Yes, we're good, we're good. All right, we're good. So obviously class is taking 10 plus listings. So here's kind of the context. So my team has done about 6,500 transactions lifetime. I've done about 750 of those, most of them being listings. I was talking with Jamie, I think, and I'm very confident on this, 99% confident on this, that my biggest month was 22 listings closed. So I'm taking all of this, as you can imagine, and trying to distill it down into a 60, really 50-minute class, because 10 minutes of Q&A, and say, how do we make it boiled down but not watered down? So this is going to be my attempt to do that. I think I answered that question well, but you know, we'll find out and we'll see together. So what are we going to cover today? So obviously listings is my thing. So we're going to be talking through 4 primary things: fundamentals, mindset, skill set, multiplier. Who here would like to multiply their business? My hand's raised as well. Absolutely. And then the magnifier, how we take business from 7 and then dial it up to 10. So before we get started, I usually start my morning with gratitudes. We have a smaller group here. What do we got to be grateful for before we dive in?
My farmer.
Your farmer?
Yeah.
It is Mary, right?
Yeah.
Your farmer, okay.
My farmer.
Sweet, I love
Your
it.
picture of
Tell-
Gables.
Tell me more.
My husband's a farmer. He runs about 6,000
Okay.
acres.
Wow.
I don't see him for a couple months.
Yeah,
I do all the cooking for him.
yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and supper, or no breakfast, just lunch and supper. Right now, there's 12 guys.
Yeah, wow. And it's
I'm not
from,
thankful for that,
I
but
love seeing your posts on Facebook though, where you got all the meals set out and.
I do too.
16 sandwiches.
I kind of feel like I want to come over.
Oh, you can come help.
And help or eat.
Have both.
farmers are some of the hardest working people, period.
Period.
Maybe the hardest working.
Gets home at midnight and he's gone by 5:30.
Uh-huh, yep. When it's time to go, it's go.
Yeah, but he checks in with me twice a day.
Oh.
He just calls us, just checking in, see how things are going.
It's amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing. Thanks, Mary. What else?
I got some really nice quiet time this morning with my puppy. And a cup of coffee and like I literally sat there like, okay, here we go, day.
Yeah,
So yeah,
those little pockets of solitude make a big difference.
yeah, just had to have some quiet time. It's nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All right, one more. Somebody.
Well, I would say the standard, family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I get to work with mine.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, very good. Very good. All right, we're gonna dive right into it. So my goal for you all today is that you leave equipped, empowered, encouraged. Here's the goal. We want to solve for, specifically, how do we stack listings? So this is going to be both personal and hopefully practical in the sense that we're going to kind of take an airplane view of 10 plus listings a month, but at strategic points, we are going to sit down and we're going to have interaction in terms of reflection. How does this apply to your business? Because I do want you to walk away with something specific that you can implement now that gets you more business. I'm confident we can get there. So here we go. And then the takeaway is just, again, clarity around strategic action. So let's start with mindset. Some great quotes here. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes of mind. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. The ancestor of every action is thought, and maybe one of my favorite ones is whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Author, obviously, Napoleon Hill. So we're talking about mindset. It's a natural place to start because mindset, it begins and ends with mindset. Everything's filtered through the mindset. Obviously, this sounds like an obvious statement, and yet when we upgrade our mindset, everything else upgrades to the previous quotes along with it. So what are some of the things that help us get into a 10 plus listings mindset? First of all, it's just an honest examination of, all right, so for you specifically, do you feel that taking 10 plus listings is potential? If you were to be honest with yourself, right? So most of us aren't at that stage or at that level yet, but is it possible? And if the answer is yes, then the next question is, okay, there's potential for it, but is it possible? As I said potential, but is it possible? And here's where it gets really personal and internal, is it probable? Because if you can answer yes, yes, and yes, then my experience as a coach is that it's only a matter of time before you achieve it or it gets accomplished. Now, in candidness, especially in this market, there's not a lot of people specifically doing 10 plus listings a month. And a lot of times, there's a clog somewhere, a clog or a damming of something in here. And so it's not possible, potentially, or accomplished. Is that making sense? So do you see yourself absolutely probable, possible to be able to get to 10 plus listings? The other thing that I've found from other high achievers is when when things come your way, do you see them as primarily obstacles or opportunities? Let me give you a specific example, maybe a weird example. But let's say you wake up tomorrow morning, it's Friday. You know, how many of you drink coffee in the morning? Okay, drug of choice, there you go. You grab your cup of coffee, you look out the window, and find out that somebody backed up a truck of manure and dumped it in front of their yard and left. What in the world? You didn't ask for this, you didn't order it. This is clearly a mistake. You have two options in terms of framing. You could say, well, this would happen to me, these things always happen to me. Or you could say, you know what? This is a little bit of the farmer life. I've been wanting to start a garden, and now I have what I need.
Sell it to the neighbors.
So today, in fact, the whole neighborhood now can have a garden. So we're going to be doing it together. Now we're getting into the charity and giving back. But the reality is, it's the same situation. One perspective is a victim mindset, the other is a victor mindset. One is a reactive mindset, the other is a proactive mindset. One is discouraging, the other one is encouraging. Same exact situation, but how you choose to perceive it does determine the outcome a lot of times of it. The other thing is when you're pushing and growing, I mean, as far as I know, at some point there's probably going to be some form of fear to some degree that shows up. That's just my experience. Maybe you don't have that. I would be shocked if you didn't. And if you don't, let me know. But at some point, fear shows up. So when it does that cause you to freeze and go internal? Or do you see that as affirmation that you're growing, that you're expanding, that you're empowering yourself, all of these things? And then, finally, perspective, mindset, failure. Do you see it as detrimental or integral for success? I want to ask you, I want your feedback on this. What's your relationship? How do you relate to failure in life, generally speaking?
I shut down.
Say that again?
I shut down.
You shut down with failure? Do you mind sharing more about that?
I don't talk about it, I don't share it, I don't.
Yeah.
And I get pissed.
You get pissed. That's fair. I mean, I think a lot of people probably could relate to that. Yes?
Gary talked about the difference between failing and failure.
Yes.
And I don't mind failing, but failure is not in my,
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, because failing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But getting stuck in the place where, I mean, failure is, that's on you, in my mind.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't think I've ever had an issue with failure. There are some things that I don't want to fail at.
Yeah.
And that can be in that space sometimes, you know, but for me, it usually helps me figure out that it's important.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm really afraid of failing at something, then it means it's really important. So I probably need to pay more attention to it and get it done.
That's good. That's good. Yes, Jamie in the back.
I am speaking on behalf of our Zoomers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I love it.
So Tricia says she tries to look at them as opportunities, but it's a work in progress.
Oh, good, good, good.
And Angela says no failure, only feedback.
Oh, I like both of those. They knew where I was going. What if failing, well, I'm just going to use failure, but I like your definition, or the distinction between failing and failure. So I'm just going to lump them, I agree, and I'm going to lump them together. What if failing or failure was just data gathering?
Yep.
It's the old Thomas Edison thing, right? He failed 999 times, and then on the 1,000th time made the light bulb. And when asked about it, said, well, how did it feel to fail 999 times? He says, well, I didn't fail, I just figured out how not to do it, which then led me to how to do it, right? So what is your mindset when it comes to failure or failing? Is it data gathering? Is it now I know what not to do, because sometimes it's just a process of elimination. My lane's getting narrower because I know not to go down that road, right? So that's all the different mindsets that I have found that go into it. Some of the times we just have myths that we're struggling with. The reality is we all have affirmations. I was just on a coaching call yesterday with somebody who said, I don't do affirmations. I said, well, actually, I'm going to disagree with you. We all have affirmations. The only question is, are they positive or are they negative? So, real quickly, some of the top myths, as you will see in the MREA, but are worth re-mentioning. I can't do it. The reality is, you don't know until you try. Can't be done in my market. I am hearing that a lot right now. Market is too hard. Reality, there are people crushing it. So the reality is, do you want to do it? And if you want to do it, meaning 10 plus listings, you're probably going to have to adjust some things in order to do that. But it is possible. Are you committed? Are you ready to figure out the solutions in order to do that? Too much time, too much effort. I like Gary when he says that time and effort aren't the deciding factors. I'll let you all sit with that. You get deep on that one, but it's too risky, I'll lose money. Risk is in direct proportion to how well you hold your costs. My clients will only work with me. Reality, they're loyal to your standards. And then lastly, having a goal, and this is probably one of the biggest ones, having a goal and not fully realizing it is a negative thing. The reality is having a goal and not trying to achieve it is a negative thing. So, a little bit of reflection as we've talked about mindset specifically before we jump into our next fundamental is, do you feel you have beliefs that are handicapping you? This is reflective for you all. How does your mindset affect the quality of your decisions? And then how do you cultivate resilience through your mindset? Understanding, as we talked about, that it begins and ends with mindset. So when we upgrade this, then we upgrade our life. So your all's feedback on how you would answer any or all of these.
I'll start out with my favorite. Everybody that I talk to, and as our productivity coach, it's a common thing. The one that I run into most often is perfectionism on minor or foolish detail. Part of it's getting ready to get ready, but realistically, it's perfectionism, which also counters into failure. All of it kind of has this nexus of attacks that people get stuck in, and that's one that I do appreciate Kelly's stepdad for teaching me a little thing, and we would work on a project together, and he would go, well, that's good enough for the girls we date. And that was where we were done. And at some point in any project, you've got to take a mentality that says this is good enough to get it out there. And essentially to gather feedback. And that's perfectionism, it's how you address all those things. At some point, you know, there are people out there probably, and I'll say this in general, there are people out there probably doing more business than most of us in this room who are not as good at their jobs. And if that's true, they're just doing them. They're not being weighed down by the fact that they're not as good at it. And that's the thing that you encounter when you talk to them. They're all bluster. They're just throwing it out there and going. And if they can do that, we can find a way to meet in the middle and do some of that and do some of us and win the game.
That's accurate. Yes. And I have a unique perspective from a coaching perspective, because you have a whole bunch of different people from different experience levels, skill levels, mindset levels, etc. It's not always the most experienced that wins, or is doing the most amount of business, which we'll get some of these fundamentals will allude to some of that. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes perfectionism, I had a coach that said to me, it hurt, but it was true, perfectionism is strategic avoidance.
Yes.
Sometimes good enough is good enough. You know, it's a fine line between expecting more and needing to grow and taking those steps and also, stopping before you start. Analysis paralysis is maybe some of what I'm hearing behind that,
They're all related, really.
And the reality is, and this is just the learner and teacher in me, because I'm throwing rocks in a glass house. Let's be real.
We're all
So,
rocks.
yeah, we've all probably struggled to some degree at some point with some of this. The reality is, if I were to actually reach perfection, what am I gonna work on? What is there to actually get up and do the next day? So is that actually what I want? No. And we know, based on what we're talking about, it's much more than that. So, all right, one more feedback. Any feedback online?
Yeah, done is better than perfect.
There you go, I like it.
Consistency beats perfection every day.
You've been looking at my notes. All right, second fundamental, skill set. So we talked about mindset, now we're talking about skill set. Why skill set and why now? Higher levels of skill set, for a number of reasons, will create a higher quantity of business, multiplying, right? I go on 10 appointments, instead of getting 5, I get 8. That's good. Higher quality, so yep, we do want to increase the quality. I want to increase my 5-star experience with my clients. I want to, this, that, and another thing, whatever that quality is, but a higher level of skill directly correlates to higher quality, not just quantity. Higher skill set, higher conversion, as I talked about, ease of process. Look, the market isn't easy in general at times right now, but there are ways over time. Let me put it this way. As a coach, from a coaching perspective, if the business isn't getting easier at some point, we're probably doing something wrong. I'm not saying it's easy all the time or it's, always going to be easy, but there should be some point where there's a little bit more ease in the process. And then, probably the reason why we're doing this is when we increase our skill set, our money should multiply so that we can live the life that we want to live. So, my questions to you all is what skill sets go into specifically taking 10 plus listings a month? So if we were to boil it down to the essentials, what are the specific skill sets?
You want to know one?
I
I
do.
thought you were gonna put them out one at a time.
Oh, they're coming.
Lead generation.
Ding, ding, ding. There's 5 of them. That's one.
I was gonna say the same thing, just picking up the phone and making a phone call. What? Yeah,
Lead gen, yep. There's 5 revenue producing activities. These are the activities that we want to focus on when maximizing listings. So lead generation is one. Do we know the other ones? Marketing. Anything online, Jamie?
No, sir.
No?
What Jason
We're wanting to focus on the 20%. Y'all have heard of the 80-20 rule. As much as possible, we want to focus on the 20%. The lead revenue producing activities. So what are those? Bingo, lead generation, lead follow-up, 2 separate things now. Lead generation, lead follow-up, presentations, meaning the actual listing appointment, contract negotiations, and then closing the deal. I can say from coaching people who are doing more than what we're talking about, as well as having done 22 listings a month, you will, in order to hit that level, probably have to almost entirely live in this space right here. Let me even get more granular. I'm grateful for my wife who does the back end stuff. I do lead generation and I do lead follow-up. I get a packet, I go to an appointment, I get a contract, I turn it back in, and I have some conversations throughout the process strategically. But honestly, most of this I don't even do right now. So I'm like 40 to 50% of the 20%. Now I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but I am emphasizing you can get even more granular with this, or you can just function in this. If you're a solo agent, this is what the transaction coordinator comes in at. Or this is what, other people who support, this is the beauty of Keller Williams, is there's so many different options on that 80%. But that frees you up as much as possible to be in that 20%. So we've talked about the activities. But now, what are the key accountability metrics that we need to be tracking in order to hit that 10 plus listings? This is the 4 conversations. So if we are going to make sure that we're getting the most out of our business, the reality is we need to be tracking specific metrics. The 4 conversations, again, this is in that MREA if you want to go deeper on this. Conversation 1, contacts. Conversation 2, appointments. Conversation 3, contracts. And conversation 4, closings. The reality is that most agents who are producing at a high level typically are at a 80% plus conversion rate. I'm going to say that again. When tracking all of this, which is important so that we know where is the opportunity, where are you crushing it, where else could you be better. Maybe you're really good at having contacts, but it's harder for you to set appointments. Maybe you're really good on appointments, but it's not the contracts that are following through, etc., etc. The reality is, in order to be efficient, you want to get that 80% plus conversion. There have been years where I've taken listings taken versus listings sold as 100%. So I know it's possible to go even beyond that. The reality is you are going to want to track these. This is accountability. Jamie, so I'm assuming you have groups for accountability and stuff like that. So for somebody who's not doing this but wants to get plugged in, what are the options?
Well, the options are being on ELC or joining Kelly's group,
Okay.
but really,
Oh,
I mean, as
I
far
thought you
as.
meant like my team.
No,
What are you talking about?
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm like-
Are you looking for people?
No! That's why I'm like, what is he talking about?
Well, there's a group, so there's a group of agents who
Yeah.
get together and hold
Accountability
themselves
group.
accountable, and
Yeah.
then it's really the teams within the culture
I love
that need it.
I love it. The reality is this, any business, the language of business is numbers. So if you know your numbers, you know where you need to focus. That's the reality. If you're not tracking, here's some general places to start. Typically, it takes about 12 contacts to get 1 lead. A lead being somebody who is motivated, who wants to sell. There's a substantive conversation around selling there. Typically, it takes about 5 leads to get 1 appointment. We're shooting a little bit low, remember, 80%, but we're shooting a little bit low, being conservative. 2 appointments to get 1 contract, and then for the sake of this, right now, we're just gonna say contract to close. So if you work the numbers backwards, that means, some of you, I can see it in your mind, you're already probably worked it out. So how about 120 contacts to get a closing? So now you can see when you're tracking these numbers, you say, I want to do 25 deals times X. Now I know exactly how many conversations I need to have and the time needed in order to hit my goal. But without this, we don't know. So, other things, when it comes to skill set, when it comes to setting yourself up for success. So those are kind of the numbers, but what are kind of the softer things that help set your day up for success? Reality is setting up your morning the evening before. If you're not in the practice of getting fully prepped, scheduled out, calendar is good, whatever it is you need to do so that when your feet hit the floor in the morning, you don't have to think about anything, you just do what you need to do. If you're doing that, anybody in here who does that? Yes. Okay. How does it work for you?
Well, I'm a little bit different in personality. I'm just
Yeah.
a type A kind of person.
Yeah.
So if I know what my day is like the next day, I prep everything the day before. Sorry, or that weekend
We're
before.
kindred spirits.
Sometimes it's like a Sunday evening kind of
Yeah.
thing, so then I look at my week.
Perfect. And how has that helped you in your business, or just you in general?
Well, just me in general. I mean, in my business, it's fine. It's great because I check off my boxes a little. But yeah. But in general, I think it helps. It helps the kids. It just helps us stay organized.
I love it.
I know what's going on.
I love it. Most of us probably avoid the thing, perfectionism, procrastination, etc., that we need to know, that we need to do the most? What if we flipped it around? What if first thing in the morning was doing the thing that was hardest? The language here would be eat the frog. If you woke up in the morning knowing you had to eat a frog, it's just going to be painful to think about it all day long, so just get it done. Reality is, in terms of efficiency, we've talked about it, I'm sure you've talked about it many times here, bunker in, get into a space, whatever that is, turn your phone off, put your email away, I don't know what it is, but you gotta bunker in such that you have a high level of focus, a high level of intensity, and therefore hopefully a high level of production. Here are examples of how some of my top producers, we're talking over 1,000 meals a year, how they structure their day. For those who want to take a picture, feel free to do so, just a suggestion. Question is, what is the difference between, when we're talking about a skill set, right? What is the difference between activity and production?
Well, activity could be, when, I don't know if this came from Bold or whatever, but being a star agent, and, all of you, I was so busy, but, didn't get anything done.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean.
Activity is a verb, production is a result.
Very well said. Activity is a verb, production is a result, right? How many times have you asked, how are you doing? Oh, so busy. I've said that, right? At the end of my life, I'm not going to be like, well, I lived a busy life. That's not going to be the moniker of like, I achieved, right? I hope, due to my core values and my mission and legacy and all the things, and to you as well, that there was production, that we achieved something, right? Being busy doesn't necessarily mean that you're achieving something. And so that mindset shift, right, where it's necessary, of course, is, are we getting the most out of our time in lead gen, in education here, right? Like, are we focusing more and working towards production versus just being busy activity? Very good. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easy or unnecessary? So, if I were to break down taking 10 listings a month into its most pure form, the one thing, maybe the eat the frog thing, is setting one listing appointment a day. You do that every single day, I guarantee you, you put your life on fast forward. Think about it this way. There's roughly 20 business days. I'm assuming you're taking weekends off or something, spending time with family. Not saying nope.
Sunday maybe.
We gotta implement some off time. We're gonna, for the sake of argument, we're gonna say 20 business days in a month. You actually are setting one listing appointment a day. That's 20 listing appointments in the month, based on the schedule that we just had, the breakdown of the day. If you're only closing 50% of those listing appointments, you're already at 10 plus listings. So literally, you doing this fast forwards everything. It all comes from this. And then the question is, how do we do less better? These systems, yeah, I love it. The reality is everybody's definition of less and better is a little bit different. But the question is, in order to succeed, typically in real estate and really scale, my experience is that people are usually more fine-tuned in doing their niche. They're doing less, they're just doing it better. So what is your niche? What is your thing? Okay, if you're having trouble finding ways to prospect, here is, you might want to take out your phone, here's 105 different opportunities for prospecting. Slide 1.
This was one of my key questions I had for you about the one listing appointment a day, because I'm like,
Oh, I heard ya.
how do you find that?
All right, we all got that one?
Oh,
Slide 2, there's 4 of them.
okay.
Those online will have to figure out how to screenshot it or something. Slide 3 of 4. And some of these are going to be very specific to specific areas. Obviously, you'd have to change it to meet here or you or your business or your clients, all that. And then last one. So I almost feel bad having said doing less better, and then I just hit you with 105 things. The reality is, believe me, I'm not I'm not trying to overwhelm you. The reality is you can't do all these. You're going to have to figure out your lane. Maybe it's 3, then it goes to 2, and then it goes to 1. I don't know, but here's just some ideas. By the way, this came from Gary's Top 100, got everybody together. They came up with the comprehensive list as much as they could think of all the different ways to find business. This was the brainchild of that. So, skill set starts with commitment, firm on the result, resolve to win, character, affirming your core values and morals through action each and every day, keeping your promises to yourself is another way of saying that. Courage, determination, especially in the face of uncertainty. So, when it comes to skill set, questions for reflection. Am I committed to doing this the best that I can do it, or the best that it can be done? Who am I becoming such that 10 plus listings a month is just a byproduct of who I am and what I do? What courageous action can I take today that my future self will thank me for? I'll give you a moment to think through these, and then I want some feedback. Or if you have it right now, you can share it right now. Jamie, anything online? No, you're good, you're good. No rush.
Yes. I think it goes back a little bit.
Okay.
Tricia says, busy is avoidance of jumping out of the way of the frog.
Got it. Avoiding the
Busy is
frog.
avoidance and jumping out of the way of the frog.
I love it. It's good. It's good. What are we thinking through this right here?
I'm a big fan of the character piece or angle. Who am I becoming?
Yeah.
Because I really strongly believe in E to P.
Sure.
And I think
Yeah.
we spend a lot of time,
Entrepreneurial, purposeful. Yep, yep.
banging our head on that ceiling of achievement.
Yeah.
And the question is, who do I need to become often in order such that these things are possible?
Yeah.
And we don't look at it that way. We just, I think a lot of times we want to imagine that we can be who we are right now, not do anything extra, and better things will come.
Right.
And that's just not how life works.
Sure.
You're at the ceiling of your achievement because you do want to do well.
Yeah.
But you need to do something different.
Right.
To move beyond that.
Right. Get past that glass ceiling. Yes.
I think for me, it's probably the courage part. So, you know, when you have obstacles or uncertainty or setbacks, you know, and how do you kind of overcome the, I don't know, if you start kind of getting down on yourself or
Yeah.
feeling discouraged,
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
do you find that courage again just to pick it up and keep going?
Yeah.
And I know at the beginning we did talk about like how we use it as a way of gathering data.
Yes.
And I think that's a really good, so for me, it's just shifting that mindset of,
Yes.
okay, well, yeah, that didn't work out this time, but what was it? And then having the courage to fix it, to do it better
Yeah.
or different.
Yeah.
So, and especially now, I feel like with our economy and life that's happening, we have a lot of people that are coming at us with all these questions. And for me, I don't know the answers to all of them. I'm
Yeah.
like, couldn't tell you, right? But I don't want to fake it till I make it either.
Yeah.
So that it's, okay, what other nuggets do I need to feed into my brain that I can recall? Because sometimes recall is hard for me when I'm sitting in an appointment, especially if I feel like somebody's asking you a hard question, they just freeze. It's like you're in class and you're like, the teacher's calling on you, you know the answer, but you don't know how to get it out of your mouth
Yes.
or your
Yes.
head. So things like that. So courage for me, I think, is
Yeah.
my biggest obstacle right now.
Mm.
Just being able to have that courage or, in uncertainty and whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm assuming for most people, if we were to really reflectively look back on life and the challenges that you've overcome and all the things, like, there's resilience there, right?
Mhm.
You know, so just, sometimes even to your point, so well said, by the way, of just like, gosh, look at how far we, the family, whoever has come. Like, is this thing gonna take me? Probably not.
Right.
So, I love it, thank you for sharing. Okay, the multiplier, here we go. How do we multiply listings or the business? Simply put, consistency. You wanna know what the secret sauce is? It's consistency. The secret is there is no secret. Secret is there's no secret. The reality is, if we look at the definition of consistent, acting or done in the same way over time, especially so as to be fair or accurate, unchanging in nature, standard, or effect over time. If we look at the etymology or history of the word consistent, it comes out to standing firm. So my question is, are you standing firm on your commitments? Are you standing firm on your goals? Are you standing firm on your character, right? Who I said I was going to be? Are you consistent or standing firm? Why is consistency, and I'm going to go back to something you said earlier, you laid that up perfectly for me. Why is consistency important?
I think it's easier to track or see where results are coming from when you're consistent.
Yeah. It goes back to that data, right? So some of it is like, I just need more data. And if I have consistent data, it's easier to track. It's easier to know what to do.
I heard one time, and I don't know if it was a Gary thing or whatever, but consistency works both ways. If you're doing something consistently, or if you're not doing something consistently, obviously then you're getting the opposite effect.
Yeah. Yes.
Consistency leads to as close to perfection as you
Consistency, yep, so Jamie said consistency leads to as closest to perfection. It is necessary for achieving as close to perfection as you can get.
It's
I like it. I love it.
perfectionist, it's consistently doing it.
This perfectionism thing, right? Like we love it, but we hate it. We're playing both sides of it.
I think we can all enjoy the analogy of going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You can go once, you can work real hard, you can go all day,
Sweat profusely.
one day.
Yeah.
That does not take the place and does not provide the same gains overall
Yeah.
as spreading that out and doing it consistently over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's so many different things in your life that you can look at and say, I got this because I did it over time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I always kind of throw back to is Dave Ramsey talking about compound interest.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a bank? Because the bank building is huge and your house is tiny, and the difference is they understand compound interest and you don't.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, it's that little bit added every day, a little bit more, builds up over time
Absolutely.
versus the one-time shot.
Absolutely.
There's no substitute for consistency.
There's consistency everywhere around us. The sun goes up and it goes down. The seasons come and they go. This is kind of a weird example, but like if I were in the corner just like, Kyle, what are you doing? I'm trying to get all my breaths in by 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. It doesn't work that way. You have to be consistent, right? Our heart beats consistently. Our business is no different to everything you're saying. To your point earlier, I have had clients who don't know what the heck they're doing at all, but they are consistent. I had a client who would go out to the mall, and just hand out business cards every single day. He wasn't terribly good at it, but he would do more business than other people who were very skilled at what they did, but were not consistent, to your point earlier, right? So consistency is important. Because it creates predictability, creates reliability, creates dependability, and maybe my favorite one is it takes some of the intensity out of things. It's kind of the old story of the tortoise and the hare, right? You can go real quick for a little stint, but typically it's the consistent, steady, daily. That's what wins out. Remember that one listing appointment we talked about per day? 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 consistently equals whatever. This right here could be whatever you want it to be. Vacation home, half the year off. I don't know. I don't know what your definition is, but consistency is going to be critical to all that. How does that play out in the business, meaning specifically consistency? Systems and documentation, that's another word for consistency. 5-star experience, that's consistency in execution. Regular feedback, well, that would be consistent evaluation so that we're gathering information to be better. And then consistency in your pipeline. Specifically, are you all doing the promise conversation on your listing appointments? Do we know what that is? Okay. My encouragement would be that you have a conversation. So we sit down to a listing appointment. We go through, we're happy, we're good, all these things. Here's what I'm going to do for you. You had all the conversations. Here's my ask, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I promise that I'm going to give you a world-class experience, and this is what I'm going to do. Whatever it is that you're saying that you do. In return, I'm asking that you give me a referral and a review before we close. Is that fair? Consistently asking for business. By the way, you do that from here on out. Every piece of business leads to another piece of business, leads to another piece of business. Now we're talking multiplication through consistency. If you're not doing that, I would highly encourage it. Find your way of doing it. How do we take consistency to the next level? 1, have fun. Like, just have fun. Figure out how to have fun. I'm 40, I just turned 43. I'm at that place in life where I'm grateful that I can make decisions partly on what I want to do, but partly what I have to do. But I'm getting to a place where one of the factors is this fun? Do I enjoy it? I'm here teaching because I enjoy it. I love helping people. So that is an actual factor. It's a major factor for what I do. As well as in my lead generation, I find ways to inject fun. Is it always fun? No, if I'm being honest. But the reality is if you can inject fun into it, you're more likely to do it. Be more consistent. Pleasure and pain. Typically, we avoid pain and go towards pleasure. Some people, it's more advantageous to try and avoid pain. Others, they want to get to pleasure. I don't know where you're at, and probably it's between the two at any given time. But are you using pleasure and pain to your advantage? And then thirdly, accountability. Like we talked about earlier. Who do you have in your life that's holding you accountable, hopefully multiple people, in order to go after the things that you said you're going to go after? Reflection. Do you rely more on motivation or discipline to maintain consistency? How do you show up on days that you don't feel motivated? How do you reset when you fall off track? And then what in place ensures consistency without burnout? And if you guys want to take a picture of this, that's fine too. You can, by the way, you can take pictures of any and all of this if you want. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. So, yes.
Jenny had said something a little bit ago, so pardon me if it's a little out of line.
It's all good.
Sorry, Jenny, I was delayed, but Jenny she says commitment is huge for me because I have several things I want to commit to and do well, so I have to really focus on what to commit to.
Prioritization is the word that comes to mind. Yeah. The people that, and this is outside real estate, I'm going to summarize this through an analogy or example. The people who have left a huge legacy on this world, from what I've observed, weren't trying to be everything to all people. They had a specific thing they did, they committed to it, and usually they were pretty good at it. Now, did they start there? Of course not. But the reality is we have to be selective in what we're spending our time on. Simple as that, in business and otherwise. Many times the challenge isn't in starting, but in continuing. Anyone can begin with enthusiasm, but consistency endures beyond the initial spark of motivation. It survives boredom, setbacks, discouragement. It demands systems rather than moods. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. Consistency truly is the multiplier. It is the compound interest in our mind, in our actions, etc. That is, if you want to, the one thing from a maths coach perspective, if somebody were to say, what's the one thing, the golden bullet, there isn't one, but what's the one thing that either sets people up for success or pulls them back? Consistency or lack thereof. That is it. If I could wave a magic wand with all my clients, sometimes I wish I could, and say, this is a magically healed, it would be the consistency. Magnifier, how do we take it from 7 to 10? Simply put, and we're going to wrap up here shortly for Q&A, coaching. Coaching. Now, you're probably thinking like, well, of course, Kyle, you're a coach. Of course you would say coaching. Coaching with your staff, at your accountability group, whatever it is, invite people into your life for coaching. Why? Because it creates momentum. There's a whole host of things that come from you opening up yourself and your business to others who are like-minded, who maybe have been where you want to go, right? It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. We all have blind spots. We all have days where we're off. Again, I'm throwing rocks in a glass house. We all have days where we're off. But it's helpful to have either a person or people in your world that are going to hold you accountable. I don't know about you, but when I have to have a conversation on Monday morning with my coach, and if I don't do my stuff, I know I'm going to get it. So that does, I don't know if this is a good thing to admit or not, but there are times where that is the only thing that gets me to do what I want to do, or what I need to do. Because emotionally, the motivation isn't there. I don't know if I should be admitting this or not, but the reality is, having other people in your life who are going to hold you accountable is critical. So, awesome stuff here. What questions are there? Maybe let's start, go ahead.
Well, I don't really have a question, but kind of going back to talking about perfectionism, there's a saying that when I first heard it, I thought I'd love this, and it's by John Acuff. You know who he is?
I don't.
Okay, he's an author and,
Yeah.
and whatever. Perfectionism is a poison that pretends to be a vitamin. You know, we think it's a good thing, you know, or sometimes people think it's a good thing to be I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And, you know, really it's poisoning you and holding you back.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. What are the takeaways for you specifically in your business? What are you taking away to implement into your business right now to take more listings?
Just consistency with lead gen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. I've been in business 10 years and I've always said, you know, my business has been pretty good. And I've always said, you know, it's pretty good, but God, what could it be if I actually did what I'm supposed to do?
Right. Upgrading your consistency would upgrade everything else is what I'm hearing. What's it need to be in order to achieve that? Like, what's literally the consistency level that you need?
I mean, every day. Or, I mean, and I guess to be honest, you know, if I'm being realistic, you know, maybe starting at 3 or 4 times a week rather than, you know, than every day where I know I'm, you know, gonna fail at that.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that kind of comes to mind with, God, what if I did have 10 listings? Okay, well then I need to, you know, I made a note on my phone, okay, well I need to we just started using a new transaction or able to use a new transaction coordinator service. I need to get onboarded with them and, you know, and then also it scares me. It's like, I couldn't handle 10. So what would I have to do to, you know, who would I need to hire, or, you know, a VA or, you know, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of scary. You know, finding a good one and finding the right one and making sure that everything's, you know, done the right way. And I don't know, it's all just
You're expanding, literally. This is good, and it goes back to the fear thing, right? If we're expanding, there's probably gonna be some fear that creeps in, which is an indication, in my opinion, that you're on the right track. Now, how do we use that in a strategic way, smartly, right, in order to set this up? Yeah, I love it, thank you for sharing. What else?
I'm gonna pretend that I'm not responding to my wife. But, I mean, the same thing is true of, that I encounter with our PC agents. And like, what happens if I get really busy?
Sure.
And what would be the worst that could happen? I mean, let's say you could only handle, you got 10 listings, but you could only handle 2 of them.
Sure.
Would you be crushingly disappointed to hand off 8 referrals and get 25% on 8 referrals?
Which is what is that, 2 full deals?
Again, there are so many solutions if you ever encounter that problem.
Yes, problem, right, yes.
That sometimes we get stuck on being so worried about a future problem that does not exist.
Right.
That we keep ourselves trapped
Correct.
in the behaviors that we have now.
It's an excuse not to move forward.
It's, you know, and I joke about it all the time, there's 3 types of problems. It's SEP, somebody else's problem, there's future me problem, and there's not a problem.
Yeah.
Right? And 10 listings, that's future me's problem. I'll worry about it when I get there.
Yeah. Maybe a slightly different perspective of, I find that a lot of times we live in the past or in the future. But it's hard for us to be in the present, right? In order to function in 10 plus listings, you gotta be regularly in the present, and you gotta be producing. I mean, you need to get pretty good at a lot of different things. But how many of us, and everybody's probably been there, well, I've only done 2, my whole, 3 or however, whatever the number is, the max per month. There's no, I'm in the past now. Well, what, and then I'm not picking on you specifically, because we've all been here. Well, but 10 plus, I'm in the future, and now I'm both ways. I'm either going back and negating, or I'm going forward and negating. But what if you just gave it your all and said, you probably could figure it out. This might be a little bit messy, but that's okay. But to your point, I mean, if I only want to take 4 listings and I give 6 referrals each month, what does that do to your lifestyle?
I'm not losing at that point.
No, not by many standards at all. What else? Anything online, Jamie?
Good.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, when you're busy, you kind of figure out that you can do more than you actually thought you could do.
Yeah. Maybe it goes back to the gym analogy. We put strain on our muscles, and then we realize we have more capacity through
I'm
consistent
not going
growth.
to the gym.
It's like, that's not the one for me.
Bad analogy.
Mine's the bar.
The bar, there you go. Get over that. Yeah,
Um,
it's true. It's absolutely true.
For me, there was 2 things that kind of stood out. And I remember this book I had to read back in the day called Deep Work. I don't know if
It's a
you've
good
read
one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really helps the brain when there's just so many distractions and so many things that come at us. Depending on your personality type, it might be a good book to read or listen to when you're on a walk or when you're at the bar, just kind of hanging out.
Wherever you happen to
Or
be,
sitting
gym,
on the
bar.
porch, whatever. But
Cooking
just
dinner.
to listen to think about, what does deep work mean to you and how to kind of get that ultimate focus to be able to kind of mastermind your whatever it is that you're planning on doing.
Yeah.
Consistency in your game plan. But for me, I feel like I need to look at those 105 powerful.
Prospecting, yeah.
Yeah, because I can pick up the phone and call people or text people or message them on Facebook. But, it's that idea, how do I continue to feed the machine?
Mm-hmm.
And what activities, not activities, purposeful activities can I do to continue to have business coming in?
Yeah. Feed that funnel. Yes.
Putting on the tech hat.
Yes.
Put your KPA into the chat GPT.
Yes.
And then take those 105 things, put them in the chat GPT and say, based on my personality,
Love you for that. I will do
fire
that.
out 10 of these that you think I would be
Top
best at.
10.
I will do that, thank you.
Yes, and always start the prompt with based on my personality or based on what you know about me. I think, I heard I was listening to a podcast the other day,
Yeah.
and the guy was talking about Icarus and Dauntless,
Sure.
and the guy said, way too many people think they're Icarus, and so they never get close to the sun.
Yeah.
And
You're
what
gonna
most,
need to explain that.
Wait, yes.
I don't know, I don't
What's
recall
a
who those
Hickory?
people are.
Dauntless and Icarus were a father and son who were trying to escape from an old prison. So they built these mechanical wings that were made of wax and feathers to fly out of the prison. And Icarus, the son, being bold and daring, flew out of the prison, but he was so excited to escape that he flew higher and higher and higher and got too close to the sun. The wax melted and he fell back to earth. And of course, his dad was crushed. But the reality is, too many of us think that we're Icarus. Too many of us think we have some potential of making it to the sun.
Sure.
And as a result, we hang back and never get the joy of the flight. And then the one thing that he said, and so the worst part about that is, you never find out how high you could go, but also, why do you assume that if you got that high, you couldn't figure out a way on the way down to improve?
Right.
That maybe next time you come back with better wings or stronger wings, or you place the wax with something else. There's so many different problems and ways to address that, that the fear of that is ultimately where we started. Where is that's the fear of, most people are more afraid of success than they are of failure.
Right.
And that's what keeps them in place.
And we're more familiar with failure as a result.
Yes.
That is
We
so.
gravitate towards what we're familiar with. And complacency. And sometimes that's dysfunction.
Yeah.
How many, I mean, I'm not calling anybody out, but, you know, we've all ran into people who have perpetual drama in their life. Right?
Really?
Because while that is uncomfortable, that is at the same time their comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good reflection for us all of, are there things that I'm comfortable with, that I'm good with, but aren't necessarily good, right? That aren't serving me who I want to be in the future for my family, etc. Good stuff. Any other? Yes.
Tricia had said that she's gonna get back to consistency with a calendar and daily activities. If something has to happen in a blocked time space,
Yeah.
then she will move the block affected to another spot on her calendar and just not forgetting about it.
Love it. Love it. That's good. Anything else? This is all good. Really good stuff.
I really like how, when you're doing your planning for your year and your calendar, we're kind of in that mode of, okay, let's look at next calendar year, 2026, and really planning out your fun. And being really, because I feel like for me and the way that I work is, if I have a nugget out here and I know I'm looking forward to something, then all this stuff doesn't feel as icky, right? Because I know that my fun time is happening over here.
Yep.
So I have something like that I can look forward to.
Love it. Yeah. Plan fun. You gotta have
Well,
fun.
it's a Sunday, if you have your Sundays off.
Plan your trips. Whatever it is that refreshes you, rejuvenates you. Yeah.
Gary says it's the first thing that goes on your calendar.
I'm going through something where you get in the room as team leader and you psych yourself out so badly, where you're like looking at someone's production, like, they're not gonna wanna talk to me, and it's like, okay, this is just a person. It's not personal if it's no is not right now.
Yeah.
And so sticking to the fundamentals, and now all of a sudden, the people that I called and wasn't getting a call back, now all of a sudden, they're calling back now. And because I put the call in and because I put the emails through, we're not strangers. And it's like, oh, well, look at that. It actually works. Huh.
Nice to
Sticking to the fundamentals and being regimented about my time and being purposeful about my smiling and dialing
Yes.
is actually working. They were busy then.
Yep.
Now they're thinking about 2026.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden.
And now's the time for those conversations, right?
Yeah.
It's go time for all the
now it's
TLs
go
out there.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're feeling the Q4 hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point, is that, I mean, this is very flexible in that you can scale up. Like, honestly, you could do 20, 30, 40, you're just gonna have to figure out, but it's the same stuff. But this could apply to a TL, could apply to coaching. What is the one thing, usually setting an appointment, conversation,
Yep.
whether that's a client, whether that's an agent, whether that's I'm hiring people for my team, it's the same thing. I'm having conversations with people. So the reality is you getting into the habit of that consistent, that is gonna only set you up for success down the road. Whereas if you shift to this or that or whatever it is, it's the same thing, just a different venue, maybe different audience. So, yeah, thank you for sharing, that's really good.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, well, when I was kind of sliding off my regimen, he would come by and shut my door for me. Stick to your calls, like, I'm shutting people out for you, like, ding.
Yep.
And then Jamie would come and just, when people are trying to get to me, and
Yep.
I'm just really grateful for that. But
Yep.
now it's very purposeful, I literally lock the door,
Yes.
and it's calls, and that's
Yes.
it, yeah. So,
And I'm guessing you found a new level of internal freedom and confidence.
You just took it out of my mouth. And confidence, every time I dial, I'm more confident than the next one, you know?
Yeah.
And the next one, I'm like, okay, now I'm like, I'm CC Davis, you need to pick up this phone and come to my brokerage.
Good.
Right.
Really good.
But it takes developing the regimen
Mhm.
and having team members that understand.
And you're keeping your commitment to
Yeah,
yourself.
sticking to my commitment to myself.
So you're living in integrity with yourself.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the character thing. Very good. Has this been helpful, hopefully?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Awesome.
I know we went a little bit over, so
you're
my
good.
apologies.
I think I had you on my calendar until 11.
We even noticed,
Thank you for
Oh.
looking me
Nobody noticed?
that means.
No.
Yeah.
Good, good,
up.
good.
I just got right
I
about,
wasn't
they
new.
have a little car.
Tricia says, awesome, thank you.
Tell Tricia thanks for
Jenny says,
coming.
thanks so much, she can hear you.
Oh, yes, Tricia, loved having you.
And Jenny said, thank you so much.
Jenny, thanks for coming.
Hi,
We
Jenny.
all agree that I look like Brad Pitt.
Just the better
I
version.
don't think that's true.
I don't know if that's true, Jamie, but I mean, you go with it.
If you skate real hard.
You know, I'm real hard, like,
Yeah, I can see it, I can see it.
like sleep, right, where your dream,
I shut tight.
you know what I mean?
Just picture Brad Pitt in your mind.
Have an awesome day, everyone.
Oh my
Whatever you think of that.
Oh,
Daycare's closed.
I'm gonna do the same thing, right?
Appreciate it, thank you.
I'm gonna do the same
Of
thing.
course, of course.
Well, we could have done the same thing.
You know,
We
it's
could
funny
do it.
about
All
that
of us
with somebody
together?
today, we were
Let's
talking
do
to
it.
the leadership team, talking about that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't get
Got
any
it.
agents who
Of
are
course,
coming in.
come on in.
That's a long arm, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm like, I didn't know that MEA,
Right, so.
only get that, your
Agents
world
for
closes.
Actually, here.
Well, the world literally closes, so that, so,
If you have kids,
Dude.
it does.
Are you hearing me?
well, yeah, but I mean, like,
Can you
like
do
even
one
down
with
to the
mine?
daycare level, like,
Oh, yeah.
daycare's closed?
Well, I
Because
like-
MEA?
Every
For a small
daycare
fee.
only does daycare procedures. So we teach
But there's a
her
lot
how
of
she's.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Bolting, punch of keys, cleanness.
There's two Kyles in the picture. I love it.
Foul deformity.
Giles.
No, you
Oh, no,
got
that's
it.
very
Brain
welcome.
is earwax.
You're the smirker.
All eyes and no sight.
Yes, yes, I have to fix, right, yes, I have to,
Oh.
yes, that is accurate.
And that's okay, we all have our thing, right?
It's just bruised.
It's the half smile.
Yes.
Perfect smile.
I
How's
do
the-
desire
how's the
we may be better
position going?
strangers.
Good.
It's starting
Are ya?
to, it's literally, so I was, I had
Thanks,
my source of
everybody.
frustration
Thank
in my
you.
own
On the
business,
line.
my own personal pressure.
I
Yeah.
know.
Internet's-
Yeah.
You know what's
What are you
really
doing
tough
here on a
is when you're
Thursday,
a
Mary
new
Mary?
team leader, and I'm not coming from real
I knew
estate.
this was a
And you
weird
hear
and
new team
I
leaders that are
bring a
like,
friend up
I
to
recruited
the
2
doctor.
people this
Okay.
month, like,
Gotcha.
So I
Yeah.
figured
And
out
then
Killed
it's
a
Mary-
lot of birds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she
and
got a
then
computer
Jamie
set
told
up.
me, he's like,
And I
remember
got a
that
computer
you
set
get
up
that,
and I got Jason to smile.
that new
What?
All
to
those
luck
things.
thing, like, you know, just,
Yes.
I'll
but,
make you smile.
but I was,
A lot of
okay, we put in the
craziness.
calls every day.
Oh, you got a baby
Stick to the
picture, I
calls.
bet.
Of course, they were busy. So when they're
Yeah,
busy,
that's
they don't
legit.
answer.
Look at
That's
her.
legit.
She looks like a
I totally
little-
get it.
she's
And
like a
now,
little lamb.
all of a
She
sudden,
just put a
hi, yes, so,
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
Joanna, so then you gave me a call this summer, and I'm
I
really
mean, and
sorry,
I'm
we're so
grandma.
busy, and I was away.
I
You know, would you still be up for that 15-minute conversation?
Hey,
Oh
Jamie.
my lord.
Jamie.
Like,
Thursday work?
Yeah.
so it's really great, it's like, no, had I
Look on
not
her face.
stuck to
Yeah.
it,
Yes.
in spite of not
Wait a
getting
minute.
responses,
Yes.
I wouldn't have the
Sweet.
fallout
Right,
now,
right.
you know, so
Yeah,
you
it's so
realize.
true, right? And
Yeah.
what we do now,
I
9
meant-
days out.
Peter?
And the
Peter,
meeting.
Peter.
And
Peter,
with
Peter.
specifically like TL, it's because I was assistant team leader,
Cute,
they
cute,
go,
cute.
oh,
These are
wait a
another
minute.
cute.
It's,